Alright, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Elden Ring walkthrough. So today, pretty much everything we're going to be doing is just more or less indirectly or directly related to finishing up Ranni's questline. And there's quite a bit to do, so this will probably be another long episode. So grab miniature Ranni off of that rock over there, and then rest. And there's something I want to do before we actually get into this episode. So, warp over to Altus Highway Junction. If you remember last time, we picked up a Somber Smithing Stone 7, and I mentioned something about how that's like kind of the roadblock for Somber Smithing Stones that you have to get past before you can max out your weapon. And so we already had Somber Smithing Stone 8 and 9, plenty of 5s and 6s by that point, so once we picked up that 7, anyone with a unique weapon could get their weapon to +9. Which kind of left all the normal weapon users in the dust, because we're sitting at, like, what? At +16. I could get it up to 17 right now, but yeah, we got a ways to go to catch up, because a +9 Somber weapon is equivalent to +22.5 for a normal weapon. So to make things fair, we're going to make this detour. Normally, of course, I would save all the field bosses for the end of the episode, but we can't do that. We need some Somber, or some regular smithing stones. And I also mentioned last time that this thing was over here. Having a tough time hitting it so far. Bro, what? This is more or less exactly the same as the one we fought in Caelid a few episodes ago, though, so doesn't mean this is gonna be easy or fun, but no surprises at least. And I would definitely fight it, like, out here on the... It's still a hill, it's not exactly flat, but better than the crater in my opinion. Should hopefully get a stagger soon. I just realized I'm probably missing it constantly because I keep putting myself downhill with it. Somehow it feels like there's not enough room to comfortably fight it, even when you're not in a tiny cave, but like... It's insane where they make you fight the one in Caelid. I think there's only one more of these off the top of my head in the game. Pretty sure. That one you pretty much do have to fight in its crater, which also sucks. Better than the cave still, but... not fun. I've just completely whiffed. I don't even know how many swings at this point. That was bullshit. All the rocks went over my head. I saw that. You saw it too. Alright, down it goes, and we get, should be 5 smithing stone 6s, among other things, yes. So, now, we're short 1. Why are we short 1? Wait, no, we're not short 1, we're good. We go back to round table hold.
No. Oh, don't pay me. Just lay out your...
Alright, so now we're on the smithing stone 7s. Got 2 upgrades there. Need 5 more to get up to smithing stone 8s, which we will get in this video. And we'll even get some more smithing stone 8s. So with that, warp back down to Ainsel River Main. And after picking up that miniature Ranni, if you rest at this grace, you can talk to her, and she's going to ignore you until you talk to her 3 times, and then finally, she will speak.
Eliminate the name of Raiwun. Eliminate the name of Raiwun.
So up ahead, there's going to be another malformed star, which we fought before. One of these horrific monsters. And there's quite a few ruins here to use for cover, which is nice. But what we're going to do is kind of wrap around this left side and grab some loot. Golden Rune 7. Kind of ignore the claymen as usual, they're very slow. Smithing Stone 4. And Golden Rune 7. Some of these ones over here have like daggers and they're a little faster, I feel like. Grab this Ghost Glove Warts too. You can kind of make the rocks hit them and it should do a pretty good amount of damage. Or you can just eat all of them yourself like I do. Yeah, that doesn't seem very worth it. So we go straight for you instead. You can always summon here as well if you want. There we go. And then we've got quite a few Ghost Glove Warts to pick up. Well, I guess we grabbed a couple already, but here's some more. And then go east, southeast actually. It's going to be a bit of a flower ambush here. Just kind of ignore everything, grab the stone sword key, and then up back here in the corner, got the Clayman ashes, and another Ghost Glove Wart. And one more. Then Then we can go down this water cave thing. Ow. Damn, why'd that hit so hard? Bro, what's your problem? This guy. Dude just hates me. Alright, anyway. Hopefully you didn't get completely violated by the ant like I did. Couple winged ones over here. Shield grease, golden rune 10. 8 of them actually. For absolutely no reason. And there's a big one with the like plate on its head. These are kind of a problem because the like collision hitbox for their head is just so large for some reason, but if you can get behind them, they're nice and soft. But if you hit them in the head, they're not going to take like any damage basically, and they hit really hard. Alright, I'm done with the ants for today. I've hit my limit already. See, like, it looks like you're behind it, but it just blocks from seemingly all directions. Anyway, run down here. Take out this star caller guy. And the other one, and we're actually way above where we fought the last malformed star. It was right down there on those ruins. Ignore that corpse for just a second, we'll be back for it. Follow this path to get on top of the ruins. And crack open the chest for the wing of Astel. Pretty cool curved sword. And then climb back up this way and we can get that corpse that we just ran past. Somber Smithing Stone 6. And then backtrack to where the ants were. Ghost Glovewort 6 down by the wall, and then through the gate to get to Nokstella, Eternal City. I'm just gonna drop down here, rest at the Grace, and talk to Ranni again.
Let us speak. I was one of the devil. Each of us, which is when, but I would not. I would not. The two things and the baleful. I turn the baleful. I turn the baleful.
Alright, she has nothing else to say. Behind this wall, there's some magic grease. And then there's like 2 ways you can get through this area. You can go up and over everything through the city, or you can kind of just stay down here and go straight through the river. Obviously, I'm going to do both, but it doesn't really matter which one you start with. There's just more to do up in the city, so let's do that first. Alright, and then one of these, oh, I got it right first try. It's a chest. Get the ant's skull plate. And then we can go back outside. fan daggers. Alright, now these things kind of work like the exploding corpses back in one of those caves in Caelid. Once you kill it, it's gonna trigger like a self-detonation thing. And do this big lightning explosion, which pretty much instantly kills the other ones in the vicinity. So just have a little patience and let them do all the hard work. I'm gonna wrap around the back of this building real quick before we go inside. Get the archer ashes. And these ones just have like a shield on their face, so get behind them. Should die in just a couple swings. But they don't do the exploding thing, unfortunately. And crack open the chest they were guarding for the Ghost Glovewort Picker's Bell Bearing 2. I'm fairly certain last time we grabbed one of those I misspoke and said that it would give you, well, are we still holding it, I guess? Probably are. Yeah, we have quite a few. So, the Smithing Stone Bell Bearings, they give you 2 tiers of Smithing Stones per, so Smithing Stone Miner's Bell Bearing 1 is going to let you buy an infinite supply of Smithing Stone 1 and 2s. The second tier that we have here will let you buy an infinite supply of 3 and 4, and so on. But the Glovewort ones actually give you 3 tiers per bell bearing. So I think when I picked up the earlier ones of these, I've said that you could get, for instance, the Ghost Glovewort 1. We could get an infinite supply of Ghost Glovewort 1 and 2s, but you can actually get 1, 2, and 3. So this one, the tier 2 version, unlocks an infinite supply of Ghost Glovewort 4, 5, and 6. So, I mean, not a big deal if you took it back to the Twin Maiden Husks and wanted to buy something. You would just be pleasantly surprised that you could get more than I said you could. Golden Rune 10 there. Silver teardrops from the ceiling. Hop inside. There's going to be another one that drops. That's not the right button. Somber Smithing Stone 7. Back out here to the end to get another Golden Rune 10. And then head upstairs and just ignore this bridge on the right for right now. Wrap around the back of the building and unlock this with a Stone Sword key. If you linger outside for a while and decide to type some stuff in your Elden Ring walkthrough notes document, you might give a giant ball time to cross the bridge, hunt you down, and just roll you into oblivion. Wow, that didn't feel good. Why did that just send me flying? Wait, what? Never seen you do this. That was crazy. Alright, anyway. Open that for the Night Maiden and Swordstress puppets. Don't think there's anything out here. Very good. Alright, so now outside, cross the bridge, and, well, maybe don't cross the bridge. Probably easier to let it come to you and get it stuck in this doorway over here. Okay, okay, relax. Alright, that worked out. But if it doesn't work out like that, it can't come inside here, so just get it stuck in this doorway. Now those will drop a larval tier the first time you kill them every time, so if you want to stock up on larval tiers to respec later, definitely take them down. Golden Rune 10 there. And then in here, we're gonna have another one to deal with. Which unfortunately cannot use the door trick for. But it is still a ball, so if you run in circles, you should be okay. Got a great ghost glovewort, got a couple of those now. And up the stairs. Another Golden Rune 10. And up here, turn hard right and check this corner for Smithing Stone 6 and a Golden Centipede. And then into this room, which is a combination of basically every challenge we faced so far. So there's a ball up there that you can see, and just like an infinite supply of these tiers that'll drop down from the ceiling, so just keep taking them out. Aim for the ones that have lightning on them, so they take out the others. And whenever you think you've killed the last one, there are like 10 more, so just take it real slow. That way the ball doesn't fall on you randomly. There we go. And then I like to just take the ball over here. This one is not very bright. Alright, well if it's just gonna sit there. No, it's not. It tried to trick me. It's stuck again. It's not stuck. Crafty. Aww. Alright, another larval tier from that as promised. And another chest for us. Somber Smithing Stone 7. And a Somber Smithing Stone 6. And then in the temple up here, this one's pretty obnoxious, I'm not gonna lie. There's a Swordstress and 2 silver tiers that are gonna transform. I'm gonna try to rush her before they manifest. I was just too slow. Alright. If I recall correctly, I think they leash somewhere around the top of the staircase over here, so you need some room to breathe, you can bring them over here. They have like no poise though, which is nice. They are so aggressive. Oh my god. Just let me backstab you. Just accept that this is going to happen. That works too. Oh, I hate you, dude. I really do. You can summon too, which makes this a lot less of a headache. Seems to have forgotten that I existed. I'm a little offended, but sure, I'll get over it. And crack this open for the Moon of Nokstella. It's not a legendary talisman to add to our collection, and we are halfway done. Butterflies back there, and then exit on this side somewhere. Take the lift down. Alright, so outside, we're gonna grab this golden seed. And then just drop down to the right whenever you can into this riverbank. Ignore everyone for right now and go down the next elevator. Rested disgrace. Talk to Ranni.
Though he was alive, yet the time is another one. Let's forget.
Alright, and this is the route we're going to take to keep progressing her questline, as you may have guessed. But before we do that, I'm going to go back and clear that lower river part of Nokstella that we just walked past. Before we do that, turn around, grab a Ghost Glovewort 9, and then warp back to Nokstella. Okay, so actually, let me demonstrate this real quick. If you make a sleep pot, you'll notice that the eyes of these ants that they're riding are glowing purple. They're actually being mind controlled, kind of enslaved. So if you hit them with a sleep pot, and they don't just immediately charge through it, let's try this again. Get a little closer this time so he doesn't do that. Alright, he just charged the other way. This is insanity. I'm gonna make 2 this time. I was gonna make a comment immediately after this about not wasting sleeping pots, but do as I say, not as I do, I suppose. Why? Why are you... like, he's just running to... Oh my god, I'm losing my mind. I'm making 4 this time. Not gonna throw it. I'm just gonna let him get the running out of his system. There we go. This guy will fall off, and the ant will actually start attacking him. I mean, he'll attack anybody, but... usually he goes for them. But it works like any other, like, mounted enemy where you knock him off and then you can get that follow-up crit. So... what I was going to say originally is that sleep pots are kind of valuable, and you want to probably save the limited supply you have of those, since you need St. Trina's lilies, which you cannot get an infinite quantity of in one playthrough. You want to save those for enemies that you really, really, really want sleep pots for. So don't just go and make like, no, 7 or what, however many I made, 8 even. I lost count. That was so annoying. Get some drawstring, holy grease, smithing stone 6. Take that guy out. I hate this place. I hate everything in here. Alright, then around the corner, follow this cliff to behind the building. Silver tier husks. And then out in front, some snails. Guarding a celestial dew, and then from here, you can go south back down to the river. Another ghost glovewort 7. And then cross back over again. See a bunch more snails over here. And more hanging on the ceiling. Grab a smithing stone 6 there. And there's going to be a ton of these silver tiers here. Well, before we deal with that actually, just to be safe, I normally like to cross over here and kill the enemy that's up these stairs. Okay, cool. That's just going to be a problem later. Open the chest. Ghost Glovewort 9. So yeah, normally lots of silver tiers, and one of the ones that are riding ants down below. There's a few of these ones with the mask up top that shoot these like lances at you. So there are a lot of ways that you can handle this. There are a ton of tiers down there in the water, so if you can kill them and start a chain reaction, that's kind of ideal. Lightning pots would work best, but I have some spare holy pots, so let's see what that does. Not enough. Let's make a lightning pot. I'm in combat, I can't. Give it a second, maybe they'll give up. There we go. Make a few of those. Equipment. Lightning pot. They're all in water, so the lightning is going to disperse extra. Not really clumped up anymore. There we go. That's what we like to see. Alright, so then, if you can, try to deal with the one that's on the ants. Or you could rush the ones up top that are shooting the lances. Kind of just go for whatever is annoying you the most. Which for me right now, I honestly can't decide. That was good. I needed that for my mental health. You have the lightning strike incantation. This is like the best place in the entire game for it. So with all of them dead, you can grab a couple of Ghost Glovewort 8s, and with that, just from this zone alone, or this episode I guess, we've gotten 6, 7, 8, and 9. And a Ghost Glovewort, or Great Ghost Glove, oh my god, you know what I'm trying to say, it doesn't matter. And that means that you should be able to max out any of your legendary Spirit Ashes, so if there's any that you're pretty fond of, then whenever we get to another Grace here soon, and go back to Round Table Hold and get those up to +10. Actually, I think we have enough to get 2 of them to +10. Plenty of 6s, plenty of 7s, 2 8s, 2 9s, and 3 Great Ghost Gloveworts, so yeah. Alright, so from here, I'm gonna go northwest. Have mercy. Not off the cliff. Please, not off the cliff. Stone Sword Key. And then cross the river over here to the south. Be a ton more silver tears in here, more are gonna drop from the ceiling. I can't hit them. Beautiful. Alright. Take them out, and then somewhere around here there should be another Ghost Glovewort. There you are. You got outplayed so bad there. Walked right into my trap. Alright, and then over here we've got Celestial Dew. I'm gonna... No, I can't. I can't leave them alone. It's too satisfying to watch them all explode. No way. How can you deny me this? Yes. 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 Okay. And lastly, in that corner over there are two of those giant ants with the shield heads guarding absolutely nothing, completely minding their own business. So if you're the kind of person that just likes to start problems for no reason, definitely check that corner out. That's the place for you. And with that, we can just warp back down to Nokstella Waterfall Basin. And I think, honestly, I'm going to go back to Round Table Hold. Can't remember if we picked up any smithing stones already. No, okay. But can come over here. And I'm going to reinforce Latenna almost all the way. She, if you have forgotten, actually has a quest line. So we're not going to be able to keep Latenna. Eventually, you will be able to purchase an infinite supply of Ghost Gloveworts 1 through 9. But you can't get an infinite supply of great Ghost Gloveworts. Those are limited per playthrough. So I usually get enough use out of Latenna personally that it's worth taking her all the way to +9, but I don't like to max her out because we will lose access to her ashes before the playthrough ends. It's not a huge deal. I mean, it's super late in the playthrough, but it's just, you know, you can't keep her, so why put a rare item like that into reinforcing her? Can level up. Yeah, we'll do that. And then back to Nokstella Waterfall Basin. Gonna throw in a lantern and then into the dark cave. Where else? Smithing Stone 5. And once you reach the end of the tunnel, the Baleful Shadow that Ranni wants us to kill will spawn in. It can be somewhat of a tough fight, so what you can do is run past it to the elevator ahead and just take the elevator down to get the Lake of Rotgrace.
Thou art the last.
I forgot she speaks, that scared me a lot.
Fingers, that Ranni the witch cometh, to rend thy flesh with a fateful wound, ne'er to heal.
So, yeah, two things. If you approach this fight from behind over here, you can get a free attack in, so that's kind of nice. And his AI kind of bugs out sometimes when you fall back into the elevator building. He just, I mean, even outside there, honestly, he just approaches you super slowly if you're at range. If you get close to him, he'll fight you normally and, you know, be plenty fast. But if you have some ranged options, that you can throw at him, he just kind of keeps walking at you really slowly. He also cannot cross the elevator platform. That goes for pretty much every NPC in the game. So if you lead him all the way back here and then stand on the back side of the elevator over here, you can continue cheesing him from there. There's a good chance he'll despawn and reset to his original position if you pull him too far into here, but it won't reset his health. I don't know if you remember back in the end of the Kaled episode, we fought Exyx, the big dragon, and he kind of went outside of his own range and disappeared. Then he goes back to his original position, but he did not heal. If you rest, this guy will reset, obviously. I didn't rest, and you can sneak up behind him and get an attack. But I don't think he's that difficult to kill that you need to figure out a way to cheese him by any means, but I figured there's no reason not to share that information. You can also use that same strat, same approach to poison him if you want. Free backstabs.
Beautifully formed. My thanks. 'Twas more of a challenge than I envisioned. Now I can finally stand before them.
I guess all that being said, if you weren't following along in the same order that I'm doing it, or doing the whole game, then, and you just rushed Ranni's questline, then you could easily get here being a good, like, 50 levels lower than we are, so that would definitely be a lot tougher. But once it's dead, Ranni talks a bit, gives us the discarded palace key, and we can head down here to get the grace if you didn't get it already. Otherwise, if you did, you can warp back to Raya Lucaria Grand Library. Right there. And over here to the left, you can finally open that chest with the key Ranni gave us. We got the Dark Moon Ring, and then you can warp back to Lake of Rot Shoreside. Okay, time for Lake of Rot, unfortunately. First things first, Flame Cleanse Me. Absolute must in this area. Every inch of this place is going to build up Scarlet Rot, and if you've been lucky enough to not have anything proc Scarlet Rot on you up until this point in the game, your luck is about to run out. It's pretty nasty, and it's going to eat through your heals really fast, even if you're constantly cleansing it, so, yeah, Flame Cleanse Me. Gonna want that. Next is finally time for its moment in the spotlight. Equip the entire mushroom armor set. So, like I said, Scarlet Rot, it's vicious, so you'll just have to tolerate your character looking cooler than whatever edgy garbage you were wearing before for a little bit. And then finally, if you can spare any talisman slots, the Immunizing Horn Charm. Let's see, I have 19 faith, so I can take that off and still have enough for Flame Cleanse Me. And Immunizing Horn Charm. I think, yeah, that one, it specializes in immunity, so it's going to be better than the, like, all-around one here. So, all in all, these things are going to give us a huge boost to our immunity. You can see it over there in the resistance stats in the bottom right. And, I mean, you can see how large the bar is there for Scarlet Rot and Poison now. Much larger than what it probably normally looks like for you. And then we're also going to get the +1 version here in like 2 minutes of that Immunizing Horn Charm. So, it'll be even more helpful if you can spare a talisman slot. And all these together is just going to make grabbing all the items in this area, fighting the boss, and just getting through it in general a whole lot less stressful. So that's why I wanted to make sure to grab, especially this mushroom armor set. Is that the last video? I think? I don't know. I think that was the last video. Anyway, got the Lake of Rot map. And first things first, you can run north here. Grab some Aeonian butterflies. I usually go to cast this when it's like at like 90% or so, like just about to fill up the bar. Run over this giant dam thing. Get Somber Smithing Stone 8. And then we're gonna go southeast towards these ruins you see in the distance. I forgot to mention, probably worth also getting yourself like, I don't know, probably like 3 cerulean flasks would be safe. And I realized just now that I did not do that, so might go back and do that. Alright, yeah, I'm gonna warp back to the shore real quick. Reallocate these flasks. Pretty confident 3 should be enough. Give yourself 4 if you're worried about running out of cleanses, but I'm pretty much planning to do this entire loop in more or less one go. We're gonna get a grace like halfway through, so I guess we're not doing the entire lake at once, but hate to get all the way to the other side of the lake and then have to come back for more FP. Come on. Okay, I will come to you. Alright, so from here, we're gonna run to the next set of ruins straight to the south that you can see. A collapsed stone structure. Golden Rune 9. Okay, and then straight to the west of this, you'll see just a random dude hanging out in the middle of the lake. So we're gonna run over and kill him. And get the immunizing horn charm +1. And back to safety. You can see there, it still like slowly builds up the rot, which is kind of annoying. Like sticks to you. So keep that in mind. You can't, I mean, you can still try, I suppose. Don't ever stop trying, but it's a little hard to just like try to jump out of the lake at the very last second and not get afflicted by the rot, because it'll keep building for like half a second. But anyway, with that, you see that big thing right ahead of me? That's not another island or anything like that. It's another one of the Dragonkin Soldier bosses, so that's super annoying. We'll deal with it in a second, but first, go to this next island here. To the left of it, with this little obelisk thing on it. And standing on this pressure plate here is going to raise some platforms around the Dragonkin Soldier. But, like I said, we'll deal with that in a second. The important thing for right now is that these pressure plates are scattered all around the lake, and stepping on them will permanently raised platforms for you to walk on, so it's going to make getting around the lake a lot easier. Grab the Somber Smithing Stone 8, and then you can run over here. So close. Hop across here, hop across here. And carefully onto the top of this pillar for the Mushroom Crown. Which will give us a whopping... I didn't want to do that, that's fine. At least it wasn't a blue flask. They give us a whopping +2 immunity over what we have right now. But it will also make us royalty among the local fungi, so definitely the move. Jokes aside though, it does increase your attack power by 10% for about 20 seconds after something in your vicinity, including yourself, gets inflicted with poison or scarlet rot. So that should be helpful for the rest of this area. A couple of opportunities to use that at least. And you can also, if you can spare more than one talisman slot right now, you could also throw on the Kindred of Rot's Exaltation, which has the exact same effect. So every single time that we get stuck with poison or scarlet rot, for a few seconds after that, we're gonna get an attack boost. It stacks with the crown, so good stuff. Anyway, hop outside. We're gonna run straight west for a little while. Hop up onto this platform, and then it's gonna take us pretty high up, so not safe to jump down. Come back over here to the ladder. Then down here there's gonna be a teardrop scarab, which is most likely going to lead you over here, so you can grab all those Aeonian butterflies in that field over there with the basilisks if you want. I'm gonna not do that personally, but they are there if you want them, and then you can run west under the big bridge that we just lifted out of the lake. And we go inside the ruins for a grace. So, yeah, 3 crimson flasks. I am almost positive I have not leveled up my mind a single time on this character. I guess I have +5 mind levels from having Godric's Great Rune activated, but 3 flasks should be plenty, even at pretty much baseline FP levels to get through there. So rest up there, and then go back upstairs to conquer the other half of the lake. I think I can make it. Easy. And again over to the ruins. Crack open the chest for the Nomadic Warriors Cookbook 22. Actually did it. That was incredible. Alright, and then from here we want to run, you can barely see it in the distance, basically straight east. And from here, go northwest to the next one you can see up ahead. There's going to be a corpse off to the right somewhere, kind of just out in no man's land out there. Those are just warming stones, so not worth running out of the way for. And actually, yeah, I'm pretty sure we'll just get those on the way back anyway. Yes. Because they're in line with those ruins that we just got, or platforms. Alright, keep going northwest. Got a few more corpses of loot here. Some black key bolts. Somber Smithing Stone 7. And finally, back to the east to complete our loop. Hit the last platform there, and then if you come over here to the shore, this is right where we started, so you can rest up, replenish your heals, your flasks. Should probably level up. More dexterity. More. Alright, and then we kind of have this nice little path that we've lifted out of the lake that will take us right back to that Dragonkin Soldier. So we start making our way back over there. There's going to be some basilisks along the way though. There's the warming stone, just one actually, just absolutely insane find. Are they just... Okay, sure, why not? Alright, so once you get to this platform with the broken pillar on it, you can get ready to fight the Dragonkin Soldier boss. So if your build is centered around ranged attacks, you can actually lure the boss to the ruins all the way back there in that corner straight ahead to the southeast. There's like a fallen pillar we ran up to get on some cliffs, and then from the cliffs you could jump across a couple times to get to those ruins where we got the mushroom crown and there's some basilisks inside. So if you jump onto that roof, or just the top of the ruins, where the mushroom crown was, you can just spam ranged attacks just for free down onto the boss, and that is by far the simplest way to handle this. If you can't do that, you don't have mainly ranged attacks, you're not a caster or whatever, you're gonna have to deal with the Scarlet Rot semi-constantly. Kind of depends how cooperative the boss is as far as crawling to the platforms over here. And speaking of the platforms, also be mindful of the fact that you cannot roll onto the platform from the lake. You have to jump to clear the edge of it. So that's really important because the boss, you know, if we try... I mean, it doesn't really matter where you stand, I guess. It's just a large boss, right? So it's easy to get trapped kind of between the boss's body and the edge of one of these platforms. So just, you know, keep in mind you gotta jump to get back up onto it and position yourself accordingly. So with our stacked immunity levels and Flame Cleanse Me casts, it's still possible to use the strat that we've used on the last two Dragonkin Soldiers, where we just try to wedge ourselves behind their right knee. I'm not going to lie to you and pretend it's super safe here. I mean, you've seen it works like half the time anyway, and you know, that's when you're not sitting in a lake of rot. So the effectiveness of that strat really hinges on how well you're able to stay stuck behind them, but with all the platforms to get knocked off of and stuck on down in the rot, it's easy to get stuck in a really unfavorable position and not have good opportunities to even cast Flame Cleanse Me to get rid of it. Personally, because he hits like an absolute truck, and that's a bad combo when you're constantly dealing with damage over time effects like Scarlet Rot and usually not at full health anyway, I prefer to just drag him onto a platform and out of the rot, get a few hits in, and just reposition if I need to so we can mostly stay on dry land. It takes a bit longer than sitting in a safe spot and just wailing on him non-stop, but that is where the summon comes in. So for this boss, I also like to just drop Latenna right here on this platform so that she can help out from relative safety and just keep chipping away at the boss's health bar. But whatever spirit you like and have upgraded will do just fine, obviously. So this is one of those times, you know, we fought this boss multiple times. There's nothing really new mechanics-wise here except for the location. So I'm just gonna send it with a summon. Speed things up a bit. That hurts a lot. As you can see, she is just like soloing this thing for us though, so that's pretty sick. We love Latenna. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of forgot that I upgraded her +9 and did not expect her to help that much, but oh well, can't complain. Get the Dragon Scale Blade from that boss, super cool weapon. Golden Rune 10 off that corpse there. Golden Rune 7 off that one. And lightning proof dried liver. Alright, and then finally to wrap up this area, at least the lake part, there's not much left after this anyway, you can head southwest. You could warp back to the Grace too if you need and just come from that side, but I'm doing alright, I think. Gonna go back over to where this teardrop scarab was and climb up this hill to get back up onto the bridge. So as you cross this bridge, an Alabaster Lord will spawn in, which will drop its sword when you kill it. So that's the goal, I suppose, is to kill it. I don't really know where I was going with that sentence. This place sucks to fight it though, because you're already getting yanked around with the gravity stuff, but trying to like roll away from the gravity attacks when you're on this platform is not cool. So just be very mindful of where you're standing. Alabaster Lord's sword, and then last but not least, in this back right corner, Somber Smithing Stone 9. Somber Stone users are just absolutely feasting in this episode. With that, you can warp over to the Grand Cloister Grace. Now that we're done with the lake, I know what you're thinking, but don't worry, we can still wear the mushroom armor a bit longer. So we want to go down the stairs, hop across, all the way around for Golden Rune 10, and then backtrack to where this was broken. Right here, drop down, the Golden Centipede, and then just keep dropping down. So you get to this ledge, and, you know, maybe the Lieutenant glazing is a little excessive in this walkthrough. I'm sorry, I'm just a big fan. But if you have her, if you like to use her, this is a dope little sniper perch to put her on, if that's your thing. Alright, so with all those guys cleared out, pick up the Golden Rune 10 there. Actually, there's one more, I lied. Pull it this way if you know what's good for you. Which you should, since I'm telling you. That sucks. Alright, so as you approach this waterfall, a putrid tree spirit is going to spawn, which is just an ulcerated tree spirit, which we already love, but the putrid variant inflicts scarlet rot, so, you know, somehow they figured out a way to make it worse. I'm going to let everyone in on a little secret that may not have been obvious, but this is not the ideal location to fight one of these. I know that the camera is going to be a huge pain, as it always is, but just watch this thing like a hawk so you can see when it climbs the wall, or if there's no wall, when it just literally flies into the air, because it will dive at you and try to grab you in its mouth as it comes back down, which hurts a lot, and it's almost guaranteed going to inflict scarlet rot on top of that, so by the time it spits you out, there's a good chance you're dead from the burst of damage you took from getting grabbed, chewed on, rotted, and then the damage over time that comes with that also, so it's not a good time. I didn't commit. Gotta go all the way back. I'm scared of it, I'm not gonna lie. I don't like this thing. So definitely pull it back here if you can. That would be the grab that we don't want to get hit by. I feel like I rolled through that. Maybe not the last one, but felt good about that one. Be mindful of the river too on both sides. You're like at this corner here. So just another source of scarlet rot that we don't want to deal with. There we go, that's what we're looking for. That's not what we're looking for. Nor is that. Oh, absolutely perfect positioning. Definitely planned. Get a golden seed from that, and then you can loot these guys for a smithing stone 7 and a smithing stone 6. Smithing stone 7 is crucial for us. We are now at 2. What's my weapon at? 20. So yeah, we need 4 more of those to reinforce again. And we will get them. Trust the process. So, up ahead there are a ton of rot servants. I'm not a huge fan of this encounter. And by that I mean fighting these guys in groups of more than 0. So, I am a big fan of being stubborn though, and not going back to the Grace that's super close by for some more flasks. So, I'm going to grab this Ghost Glove Ward 9, ignore the corpse on the left because it's just some daggers which I don't need. Holy shit, that hurt. Ow, dude, what? What's their problem? We're gonna run in here as fast as possible. I feel like I've never had it go that poorly, so that's probably worst case scenario. Get the Scorpion Stinger and they should leave you alone. And then you can warp back. Because we do, unfortunately, have to replenish our flasks for the next part because it's a very big boss fight and there's not another Grace right before it for some reason. One of the few places in the game that they decide to be stingy with Graces. And we're done with the mushroom stuffs, or the Scarlet Rot thread, I should say. So you can take off the mushroom set and put your Edgelord fit back on if you would like. I don't really remember what I was wearing. Couple pieces of the Vulgar Militia fit, I think. Maybe just the chest. Was that it? Top half looks right. I'm not sure how I feel about the legs. I wasn't wearing the Vulgar Militia legs. That's for sure. I think that was it. How much poise does that give me? 35 as opposed to 29. Not a big difference, but I'll take some extra poise and it looks fine. Alright, so actually let's level up again. Play this extra safe. Because this boss can definitely one-shot you too. Could pop some runes there. Wait, could I just level up a second time? Am I dumb? I swear it said no. Oh, I can. More dexterity. Alright, so, again, for some reason there's no Grace in this, or or before this boss fight up ahead, but there is a Stake of Marika, so if you die you can respawn in this next area. You don't have to make this whole run that we're making right now again. Because of that, I would have just said to take this coffin over here after grabbing the Scorpion Stinger, because if you were low on health and flasks and just die in the boss fight, you'll just respawn right up ahead, and you can just go in and get your runes. But the problem with that is the boss always starts the fight with a very high damage beam attack, and if you don't have the timing down very well and don't have a decent amount of health, it's definitely possible to just walk in there and get one shot immediately. So in light of that fact that it might not be as simple as just walk in there and grab your runes if you die, I figured it would be better to start the fight on this first attempt with full health and flasks, or full health and almost full flasks, because you got bullied by the pests again. Alright, so Astel. The Naturalborn, I think this one, there's a couple of Astels. Sorry for the spoiler, but this will happen again. Starting off with a death beam every time you enter, which is actually so fast it's almost more of a projectile, so if you really want to, you can dodge forward into it. Just a fun fact, not really that helpful to know that, but after the beam is when I'd recommend using Spirit Ashes if you plan to, being that this arena is absolutely massive. I'm sorry, I gotta say it again, Latenna absolutely shreds as usual, and the boss's hitbox is just so mobile and kind of like floats around, so melee isn't going to be able to do constant damage the way you would want it to. Definitely try to close the distance after this first beam, and try to stay as close to its head as you can if you're fighting melee, that is. Honestly, even with a caster, I would probably recommend that, depending on how, unless you have super fast spells that you're using, probably best to stay close still. It's one of those classic, the camera is the real boss type fights if you're fighting it super up close, but you're gonna keep it from using certain long range attacks like its beam and its tail slam. It has like a scorpion style kind of tail stab as well, that it sometimes uses if you're more in like a medium range instead of right in its face. But honestly, the best counter is just getting close and hitting its face while the tail goes over your head, so again, closer the better. Now, much like the Falling Star Beast, the parts of its main body that look like it's made of stone or crystal are going to take less damage, so you want to aim for its head and hands. Those are its sort of weak points. As far as melee attacks, it's going to use its hands or bite with its like pincers. For the pincers, it likes to click them together a couple of times before it goes in for like a multiple bite combo. Despite that tell, it's still really fast and hits pretty hard, but rolling forward usually puts you right under its head and out of harm's way. It also has a grab version of a bite where its eyes and pincers will glow first. Again, super obvious tell, but that one also has a long wind up, so you have plenty of time to react. Either way, you want to dodge into it and just kind of get under behind its head to get a hit in, or you could run away. That also works, especially for the grab. As for the hands, it has a few different swipes that are pretty easy to read, pretty easy to see coming. The catch is that they leave behind like a trail of stardust or little nebula clouds. I don't really know what to call it, but they'll explode after a delay. So watch out for that. Even if you're staying close, or if you're staying close, a lot of the time the cloud and sometimes even most of the swipe itself will just be behind you. So again, closer the better, in my opinion. It's a lot more dangerous when you're more medium range, because the boss likes to kind of backstep a bit after the swipe sometimes. So if you're trying to move forward to stay in range of the boss to keep hitting it, you sort of get baited into the explosions, which isn't very nice. And last but not least, there's a couple of close range like magic attacks. One is very similar to the Falling Star Beast, where a large area is going to glow purple, and then after a delay, you and everything else in the area will get lifted up and then slammed down. Just, you know, run-of-the-mill gravity attack. Run as far away as you can when you see the area around the boss glowing purple. Pretty simple. And the other attack is two different variants of something called Waves of Darkness, which are basically the same. They're just a smaller and larger version. So Astel will kind of rear up and hold either 3 or 6 glowing orbs in its hands, which is how you tell the size of the attack that's about to come. 3 for the smaller one, 6 for the bigger one. And the big one also has a larger wind-up, so you're going to have way, way more time to react. The small one comes at you pretty fast, but he's going to slam down, make 3 shockwaves, each one larger than the last, and then for the larger version of it, where he holds 6 orbs in his hands, there's going to be 4 shockwaves that are all a bit larger than the other version of the attack. To counter this, the best option is just to run away. Now, the timing that the explosions come out makes it seem like you can roll through them, but it just doesn't quite work, so it is driving me crazy. So I looked it up at some point. It turns out I wasn't completely insane, but the only way you'll be fast enough to dodge the individual shockwaves, is all of them, that is, in order, is if you have a light equipment load, which you can check in your equipment or status page. Chances are, if you haven't consciously been building your character to have a light equip load, you're probably running medium, which is plenty light to dodge 99.9% of the attacks in the game, but not this one in particular. That being said, the timing is still really strict, so personally I think it's better to just run away. It's a lot simpler. Throughout the fight, Astel can teleport, which will often put him far enough away to use the beam again, so be careful of that. But whenever it teleports, you always want to tilt your camera up towards the ceiling to make sure that it doesn't teleport right above you, because it'll sometimes do that to set up a grab attack. If it tries to grab you after the teleport, just roll straight into it, and also the teleport damages you, because why not? There's the beam. Now would be a good time to summon if you want. And we just go in. Here comes the tail slam. See, that has like a lot of range just because the boss is huge. There's a 6 orb, waves of darkness, 4 circles, each one larger than the last. See that kind of exploding trail he leaves behind when he does the melee. There's the 3 orb version. It comes out a lot faster, but it's also a much smaller attack. That's the grab. Honestly, got really lucky there. Also about half health. He has like a huge like rain of... There's the teleport. You can also time your roll to just get through that explosion. Here's the half health, half-ish meteor rain. Just pick a direction, run sideways. Should get you clear of most of it. Unfortunately, when he teleports again, the place is just so big that he can get far enough away that he can use the beam attack. See, if you're just right in his face, a lot of the... Oh, here comes the grab. I actually rolled away instead of into it that time, but that's fine. Doesn't matter which way you roll if you actually time your roll to utilize the iframes, but usually if you react to it faster, I'd recommend going into it. So that's just how you should dodge pretty much everything if possible. See how much stuff just misses me because I'm right underneath his head. Here's the big pick you up and slam you down attack. I did not get far enough away. But also, pretty easy to see coming. I was just in a bad position. Everything is glowing pretty bright. that's the big one. And down he goes. Get the remembrance of the Naturalborn, and there should be a grace that spawns in as well. So you can trade that remembrance for the Ash of War, Waves of Darkness, which mimics those expanding gravity circles, or a flail called Bastard Stars, which looks pretty cool. It's kind of like just a bunch of planets and space rocks and stuff bound together, sort of floating around each other. Very cool looking weapon. Now if there's a seal blocking this exit in your world, it just means that you don't have the Dark Moon Ring, which, just to remind you, Ranni gives you a key after killing the Baleful Shadow right before Lake of Rot, and it'll unlock the chest behind Rennala, and that's where you get the ring. So this area is basically just 100% dedicated to the end of Ranni's questline and the rewards associated with it, so if you're not doing it, this would just be a dead end, essentially. Assuming you are, though, you can take this lift up to the surface and we'll pop out of the deep Ainsel River well on the platform in southern Liurnia, above the village of the Albinarics. So, just to clarify, this is the only way to get up here, even though it looks like it's just in Liurnia. You gotta go through everything that we just did to actually get up here. There's no other way to climb up here or anything. But you might remember earlier in the game, when we went to Village of the Albinarics, it's like under... It's sort of in a giant cave, right? And I mentioned that the map was like useless there because you just see what's on the surface above the cave, which is this whole area. So if you were looking at this area of the map earlier in the game trying to figure out how to get up here, there you go. But run ahead to the Moonlight Altar side of Grace. And we are going to run up the hill to the cathedral. When we get close to the front door, Glintstone Dragon Adula will spawn, the same one that was hanging out over by Ranni's Rise earlier in the game, which we're still just going to ignore for a second because there's another Grace right inside, and we're also here for Ranni's quest. Should also be 10 Starlight Shards around here, I believe. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and maybe 11 actually. Yes. Only reason I'm counting is because if you recall, I mentioned there's only 21 of those in the game, so I want to make sure that I get them all. And over half of them are right there. And then the other thing you might remember, back when we first got to Ranni's Rise, I mentioned the dragon over there will disappear at 50% health, so that's why I just never bothered fighting it, because it's gonna come here and you gotta fight it here either way to actually kill it. So this would also be a good time to equip heal, because there are going to be some revenants up ahead. So I have it on already, but just wanted to throw that out there. And then you can go down this tunnel here and just follow it all the way to the end. Where you will find Ranni. Interact to trigger a cutscene, and then after that, speak to her.
I go now. I bid thee, and once all.
And she will teleport away, leaving behind the Dark Moon Greatsword, another legendary armament for our collection. And with that, all required steps of Ranni's questline are complete, and we now have her Age of Stars ending unlocked. You have not committed to that ending by doing any of this. We've just unlocked the option. As a reminder, aside from the Frenzied Flame ending, which you do have to commit to prior to the ending of the game, you'll be able to decide which ending you want at the very last moment of the game. And in case you forgot, I'm structuring this guide so you'll have access to all of them by the time we get there. You just have to pick which one you want in the very end. There are a couple extra Ranni related bits to her questline that are just a bonus, and I'll show those here as well. One of which is the fact that this entire plateau is basically just full of rewards for completing her quest. So let's go loot some stuff. So when you get outside, head southeast. Gonna find some ruins up ahead. Lunar Estates ruins, but you want to circle like wide outside of them to avoid spawning in. There's two ways you can go about this. You can either avoid the Revenant entirely by just circling around the outside, or so you don't accidentally trigger it and get blindsided by it and panic and look for your heal incantation, you could just rush right into the middle of this grassy area. Just kidding, this grassy area. And just take it out, which is super easy if you do have heal on or any AoE healing incantation. Otherwise, the eastmost section of these ruins right here, I always have a hard time finding it for some reason. So that's where it is on the map. Go down here, open the chest. Get 3 smithing stone 8s. Finally, some love for the regular smithing stone people. And then you can head west to the next section of ruins. Exact same thing here. Either just try to avoid going into the grassy area in the center to not spawn in the Revenant, or just go straight for it and deal with it right away. So that's what I'm going to do since I have heal. Actually, I don't have enough FP to do this twice, do I? Oh no. Okay. Anyway, Golden Rune 10 right here on this broken wall, kind of as soon as you walk up to the ruins there. And then over here to the right, spot for a stone sword key. And then dispel the illusory floor. That's also the last Revenant to deal with, thankfully. Cerulean Amber Medallion +2, it's going to give you a bunch of extra FP to work with. And then from here, I suppose, let's just deal with the dragon. Warp back to the cathedral. And the spawn-in animation is pretty lengthy, so, and we're kind of right underneath it when you walk out here. So you can get in quite a bit of free damage here. And you guys pretty much know the drill with these dragon fights by now. Adula has the same general bag of tricks, but without magic, or with magic damage. And aside from the normal dragon moveset, there are 2 unique attacks to worry about. First, it's going to charge up a big crystal in front of its mouth that will shatter and send a bunch of homing crystals at you. Being a dragon fight, you're probably going to be moving around quite a bit on torrent. So if you happen to be lucky enough to be able to hide behind a wall or rock or something, that would be ideal. Otherwise, just kind of try to dodge into it like you would any other homing projectile. It's a little bit of a headache to deal with, but he doesn't do it too often. And then the second and definitely most dangerous is his signature attack, Adula's Moonblade. Super obvious when he's using it because he'll fly backwards and a giant sword will appear in its mouth. If you're fighting with melee, chances are you'll be close enough when it does this that you can just run forward and underneath him. Probably still roll forward, or be prepared to roll forward as well, just to be safe. And the dragon should just go over your head and miss you outright. If not, or if you're using ranged tactics, what he does is he always swoops down and forward and then brings the sword in like a very wide arc from the side, which will then also send out a wave of frost forward. If it hits you, it's pretty much guaranteed to proc Frostbite, and it hurts a lot. Whatever happens, you want to aim to roll forward though, through the sword swing, so you don't have to deal with the frost wave at all, because that's the worst part of it. The attack has absolutely massive range at every step. The downward swoop covers a huge distance, the sword's really big, sweeps really wide, and the frost wave is also very large. But the whole thing has a lot of forward momentum, so as soon as you see it coming, just run forward and try to get under or behind the dragon. There he is. Just start swinging away. I had a feeling I was going to lose Torrent. Alright, here comes the special attack. There you go, right over my head. Giant wave of frost, giant sword, just like I described. There's the crystal one. It's gonna shatter. They all home in on you. It's trying to get behind this rock, but got distracted talking. We'll use it for the fire though. Looks so cool, everything just turns blue. Sword again. Just go right underneath him. And he's resetting. One more hit. You're kidding. That's so insane. I'm not running back over there. Let Tenna handle it. Get his ass. Shit on. Alright. A bunch of souls, dragon hearts, 3 of them, and Adula's Moonblade. So unfortunately there's no new unlocks to the Church of Dragon Communion, or Cathedral rather, but we did already have access to the upgraded version of Glintstone Breath, and we get the Moonblade sorcery straight from the source, so definitely not a bad deal. Now in these ruins right here to the west of the Cathedral, right here, it's a bunch of illusions, and well, there's a couple of illusions actually. Wait, are there? Yes, there are. But more importantly, if you use Margit's Shackle, it's going to trip all these glintstone traps, so we can walk around freely. Still got these guys to worry about, but that's no problem. This path up here is open. Go downstairs. Somber Smithing Stone 8. And then at the top, a couple buildings over here to the west. Magic Grease. And then Next one over to the south. Should have a rune arc. And there you are. Golden Rune 9. Now southwest of here, you can sort of see them moving in the distance. There are 3 lesser glintstone dragons. They fight exactly the same way as the dragon back in Liurnia. Well, I guess we're in Liurnia again, but the one in the lake section north of here that we fought way earlier in the walkthrough. But these ones are unnamed. They don't have a boss health bar at the bottom of the screen. They're just generally weaker. They each drop 1 dragon heart, so 3 in total if you kill them all. I'm not going to waste time killing 3 more copies of a dragon we've already killed, which is almost already just an exact copy of several other dragons we've already killed. Especially not after we just kill a dragon that is, once again, with the exception of 2 moves, almost an exact copy of all of the previously mentioned dragons. So just do that whenever you feel like it, or just skip them if you don't need the dragon hearts, up to you. There's also a stack of 5 gravel stones on a rock in the middle of all of them, but I feel like if I said that only 1 person in the entire world cares about that, it would still be an exaggeration. So for now, instead, just make your way to, we're going to go to the northwest corner of this plateau, but you got to kind of come around to this path over here to the left. Actually, I changed my mind. This would be a good time to rest. Go to either the cathedral or the Moonlight Altar. I have quite a few runes for one, but I also want some heals going into this fight. So, what we're going to in this corner is the Ringleader Evergaol. This is going to be a fight with an enemy called Electo, the Black Knife Ringleader, which is essentially an amped up version of a normal Black Knife assassin fight. It's definitely a lot more difficult though, and in an Evergaol, so you can't summon to keep them stun locked, which you usually can for the others. The only difference moveset really, or moveset wise really, is the jumping attack that all Black Knives do, but for this one, she imbues her dagger with death magic and does a much larger jump. And when you see her start to ignite her knife, just start sprinting away. While it is a lot more dangerous than the normal variant of this move, it does sort of have the same weaknesses, which is a long cooldown for you to counterattack. Aside from that though, standard Black Knife tactics apply. Lots of attacks are parryable. She can be backstabbed, but ultimately she's just very fast, very slippery. And you're probably going to be playing defense most of the time while you try to capitalize on the jumping attack cooldown. Since you have to run so far away from the death magic one, and wait out a pretty wide AoE attack that comes immediately after she lands, it's not really a backstab opportunity, but it is great for any hard-hitting frontal attacks like a spell or Ash of War, heal up, whatever you gotta do. As for the unimbued regular jumping attack, that is a great opportunity for a backstab. I honestly, on this fight, pretty much just don't mess with any other attack. I will literally just roll away until she does one of the jumping attacks, because that's the only really safe time to attack. Every once in a while, I'll try to catch her as she's running at me, or I'll do a quick rolling light attack if I have a fast weapon, which I do in this walkthrough. But only really one poke to see if she staggers. If she does, maybe a second hit, but a lot of her attacks have hyper armor, so it's not only dangerous to combo multiple attacks for that reason, but you also need to be able to run at a moment's notice to avoid that imbued jump attack, because it will ruin you. If any of her glowing red death magic attacks hit you, there's also a projectile one, they're going to temporarily reduce your maximum health and do a damage over time for a few seconds. I'm not exactly sure how long, but not fun. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. At this point in the game, this is a pretty tough fight, but the ashes that it drops can also literally solo a significant number of bosses in the game, like most of them. So it's a good thing that this isn't too easy. If you need to come back later, don't sweat it though. I'm going to give this one shot, and if it doesn't go well, I'm not going to force it, because as you see, that's not a lot of damage I just did to her. So I don't want to be sitting here forever. You see though, I'm just doing quick little pokes as I dodge. Regular jump attack, free backstab. Go for a wake up charged heavy too if you want, that's pretty safe. If you dodge away from that attack, that's a good opportunity to get that like rolling light attack. That's why I usually dodge away from it. Otherwise, of course, I'm usually an advocate of dodging into something. That's the imbued one. Run away from that. Roll through the regular jump attack, free backstab, charged heavy on the wake up, rinse and repeat. This is the whole strat. If I change it up whatsoever throughout the rest of the fight, it's just because I got greedy. Run away from that, come in for a jumping attack if you want. Quick rolling light after that attack. Rinse and repeat. I've got the moves I like counterattacking on, I've got the moves I don't like counterattacking on. Stick to the plan. That does not feel good, that's why you run away. And I'm gonna ideally just wait for her to do a jumping attack before I try to heal too. So that's just, like I said, the only time I really feel safe in this fight. Stay topped off too, because if that imbued jumping attack does hit me, probably gonna kill me if I'm not at full health. And be mindful of your positioning too, since you do have to run basically straight backwards to avoid the special jump attack. You do not want to have your back to the outside of the arena, ideally. That was bad. Just don't want to get cornered. And that will do it. So you get the Black Knife Quiche legendary spirit ashes from that. Super just unreasonably strong ashes. Ton of runes from that too, but like I said, you saw I was barely doing any damage, so that's definitely a fight that's no problem coming back at the end of the game when you're stronger to do that. Now, whether you cleared that Evergaol or not, next we're going to head south from here. If you're not comfortable potentially getting hit with the amount of runes and low health you might have, feel free to rest first, but I'm doing okay right now. I was running through here last time. I was like, yeah, there's a few of these Crystallians along the path, but you can run past them on Torrent. They won't follow us. Totally forgetting that there is a Red Wolf of Radagon guarding the loot up ahead, which is significantly more problematic. But usually I can kind of sneak in here and just loot these gazebos and not get annihilated by that. 3 Smithing Stone 7s, incredible. 3 Smithing Stone 8s, also incredible. And 3 more Smithing Stone 7s. Does not get better than that. The Red Wolf of Radagon there, I'm not gonna lie, might be the hardest enemy in the game. I don't, maybe it's just me, but I truly believe that that particular wolf is harder than Melania. I really do feel that way. And it drops nothing. Couple thousand runes is all, which is pocket change compared to like the 100,000 we just got basically from the Ringleader over there. But yeah, I wouldn't mess with it. Got a Grace here. And rest before you interact with this tower if you're gonna rest. Same with warping. If you want to go to Round Table Hold or anything else, do it before you interact with this tower. For some reason, in my experience, this one is super buggy, and I've seen lots of other people have issues with it too. It's another one of those Seek 3 Great Wise Beasts puzzles where you have to find 3 turtle phantoms to unlock the tower. After you read these instructions on the imp statue, it should spawn in 3 turtles. Seek 3 Great Wise Beasts there, but sometimes it doesn't, and in my experience it consistently bugs out if I try to warp after starting the puzzle, which I'm guessing warping mid-puzzle might mess with other towers in the game too, but usually the turtles are like right by the tower, right? But this plateau is a huge area, and the turtles are spread like across each corner of it essentially. So it's really the only time that we would ever even feel the need to warp during one of these puzzles. But to be safe, interact with the statue and hit all 3 spots in one go if you can. No resting, no warping between them. Just run from one to the next. Sometimes 1 or 2 turtles will spawn, but not the 3rd one. Sometimes you only need to get 2 of them before the tower unlocks. It's just weird sometimes. If it still bugs out for you, even after following the precautions I recommended, just keep trying. Come back here, rest, read the statue again, and run to the location. Sometimes it just takes a few tries repeating that before I can actually get the turtles to spawn in, but I always get it eventually. Anyways, over this cliff here. Maybe not that one. This one. Ranged attack or an AoE of some kind. Take out that one. And then head north, and we're essentially just going to retrace our steps back to the Ringleader's Evergaol. Once you get to the top of the Crystallian section of the path here, you should see a turtle in the sky above the trees ahead. If not, something went wrong. I guess this is the section of path I meant, the Crystallians. So right up here, there you go, should appear in the sky. Check the 3rd location before you warp anywhere or reset anything, just in case you can get the tower to unlock with only 2 turtles, because like I said, I have had that happen to me before. For this one, we just want to bump our head on the turtles, so just stand in the middle of this, jump straight up, and miss. There we go. And then from here we want to go into this clearing to the south of Lunar Estate Ruins. So we got a bit of a hike. Guess we can grab those gravel stones while we're here. I'm assuming the dragon will leave me alone. Make sure to not cut through the ruins. Don't forget about the revenants in there. Alright, so down here off to the right, should see a bunch of regular looking turtles. And there's a couple of these just like rock, these random rock formations just sticking straight up, right? So this is kind of how you find it. Look over the edge. There you go. Seal and the rise is open. So at that point you can warp back. You're safe to do so once you get that message. If any of those are missing, again, unfortunately you'll just have to keep trying. But from my experience, it does seem like warping is what triggers it to mess up, which is just tempting to do because once you know where the turtles are, then it's hard not to want to just warp closer to the locations since we can. But probably best not to. Climb all the way to the top of the tower and open the chest for Ranni's Dark Moon, another legendary sorcery. So with that, couple more loose ends to tie up here in the area. It's time to put down Old Yeller. Warp to Ranni's Rise. I haven't read that book since I was like 9. Thought I was over it, but I don't think I am. Alright, so outside here we're going to find a rabid Blythe who we must kill for his armor set and his sword. Now, this fight is similar, but has some very important differences to the Baleful Shadow we fought back by Lake of Rot. The big one is that when he did his kind of jumping attack, it's more of a leap. Let's just start this out with a backstab and then take him down the clearing below, because he has like very large acrobatic attacks and you can get cornered up there easily. This one, he swings and then does the leap. That one, when the Baleful Shadow does it, free backstab afterwards. Blythe himself, though, will follow up with a really nasty, like, roll catch sweep. So, don't fall for that. Don't go for the backstab after he leaps at you. Same with that. You know, it seems like a free backstab if you just roll behind him when he lands, but then he follows it up with the... There's the follow-up there. The other one he follows up with that kind of frost AoE thing, so... Yeah, he's a tricky guy. See right there. Do not try to get behind him. Or in front of him. I feel like it's just... That usually catches me really bad. I feel like it's for two reasons. One, Baleful Shadow not too long before this, where that was a free backstab, and also us just fighting the Ringleader, where for like 5 straight minutes it's just waiting for a jumping attack to get a backstab. That hurt. This guy is killing my vibe. Oh my god. I just need to hit you once. I need to, like, blow air in your face and you'll die. Alright. So, Royal Greatsword, Blythe's armor sets. I assume that's what most of you are going to be wearing for the remainder of the game. Just how it goes. This game absolutely shafts you on armor sets until like the last 20 minutes of the game, and then you get everything cool all at once. But now, head down to Selvis's Rise, and we're going to climb the wall outside of it. I think this might spawn here earlier in the game, like way before you finish this questline, or at this point in the questline. But I figured I'd wait until now to grab it on the off chance you have not seen this questline before, because I feel like it's just a whole lot more confusing to see it without the context of the Blythe fight that we just did. Get the Black Wolf mask and then warp to Road to the Manor. Speak to E.G. about what just happened. Blythe's death. And then rest at the Grace to reset the area. And you will find E.G.'s corpse consumed by black flames. Bunch of dead assassins around him too. My boy didn't go down without a fight. You get E.G.'s bell bearing and his helmet. Now, if you want, you can warp back to Ranni's chamber, rest of the Grace, and talk to Miniature Ranni one more time. But I'd actually recommend holding off on that if you do plan to do her Age of Stars ending at the end of the game. There's some pretty rough mistranslation apparently from the original script of the game, which is written in Japanese if you didn't know, and it makes the ending and Ranni's like overall intentions really confusing. If you talk to Miniature Ranni in her chamber right now, she elaborates on the ending a bit, which the elaboration unfortunately is also slightly mistranslated apparently, but despite that, I think her dialogue here makes a lot more sense after you see the final cutscene of the game, and if you listen to it now, she'll basically just repeat the last line if you try to hear it again later. So you can always just look all this dialogue up online later, but I figured I'd at least mention that. If you're not doing her ending, though, this is the last you'll hear from her anyway, so there's really no reason not to go talk to Miniature Ranni up in Ranni's chambers now. But yeah, with that, Ranni's questline and all related loose ends are now tied up, so we can almost go back to Alda's Plateau. Unfortunately, I just lied to you. There's one more thing we have to do. Warp to Eastern Liurnia Lakeshore. One more stop before we can get back to Altus. Since we have the carrying inverted statue now, we can do the Divine Tower of Liurnia, which unfortunately does not give us access to any new Great Runes, because actually that's kind of complicated, so I'll do my best to explain that afterwards. For now, though, just follow the path over to the tower here. There's actually two versions of this area. One is only accessible after we get the inverted statue. The default version is, of course, accessible as soon as you get to Liurnia, so the rewards are pretty lame here at this point in the game, but the enemy inside is really obnoxious, especially that early in the game. So I'm just going to do both versions now. So for now, just ignore this pedestal and don't put the statue there. If you do by accident, it's fine. You can just remove it and reset this back to the original version. But go up the elevator. Run off to the right. There's going to be some crawling hands hanging from the ceiling. A couple sorcerer dudes will spawn in as well. That's embarrassing. I'm not sure why they're not dropping. Oh well. They will be a problem for us later, don't you worry. Run up here, more sorcerers spawn, including this NPC named Preceptor Miriam, who is basically just the world's biggest Loretta's Great Bow fan. That's just what he's gonna spam at you. You can do a little like Rain of Stars thing when you get close, but he's got a few different points he'll teleport to. Like from that original spot, he'll go across the bridge and then up here. I did too much damage to him, so I think he just skipped all the way to the end. Now, if you're doing this earlier in the game, I also want to mention that something you can do is run. He moves when you damage him, so if you ignore him at that first spawn point, you can actually run all the way through this area to the very end to trigger the spawning of all of these extra phantoms, and then work your way through here backwards, killing all the phantoms, so then while you're chasing around the main NPC, you're not also dealing with all these other side enemies. So that is an option available to you. If you play Dark Souls 3, this is like just exactly the same as chasing the Crystal Sage through the Grand Archives, which I don't think is an experience anyone really wanted to relive. Oh, you can also kind of force him to fight you back here at this elevator if you want. Sometimes. I didn't expect him to teleport away there. Usually if I hide back here, he runs over to me. Looks like he wants to. He keeps like walking closer and then walking away. I don't know. NPC AI is weird and bugs out all the time, so... I hate this guy. I'm just kind of walking into it out of spite at this point. I don't... This is like horrible. It's never this bad. Bro, like he keeps teleporting mid... Am I crazy? Do you have to like kill all these guys now? Do they change this? How are you supposed to kill him? Boys, I need a walkthrough. I need help. What? Got a hit. It can be done. Holy shit. Get magic downpour. I don't know what that was about. That was insane. Anyway, find the elevator, or the ladder. On this giant ring somewhere. I mean, don't get me wrong, that encounter is always obnoxious, but that many teleports in a row, like midway through pulling back the bow, that was wild. I didn't even have a chance. Go all the way up. Try your absolute hardest not to get knocked off of these rafters by a rat. That'd be such a tragic way to go out. You see my point though, like doing that fight earlier in the game would be way, way, way worse. I'm gonna kill this guy just to be safe. And then, why am I still in combat? Oh, there's another one. Cool. Alright, I've upset all of the rats apparently. There we go. So yeah, that's it for the regular version of this place, so you can return the study hall entrance. And use this pedestal. Cutscene plays, I'm skipping through it of course, and then the whole place is upside down. I don't understand how or why. I mean, I know it's magic, but I just want to understand it, and I can't. It just doesn't make sense, but I'm gonna carefully hop down here. There's gonna be a few crawling hands waiting for us in here. Now, as you approach this ledge, Preceptor Miriam will spawn in once again. Unfortunately, we have to do the whole song and dance a second time. To get down there, you can either go left or right and drop down to the ledge. If you go right, there are 2 crawling hands, and if you go left, there are not only no enemies, but there's also a body with loot on it. So, being the risk taker that I am, I'm gonna go left. Wait for the bow. Hop up here, get the Mask of Confidence. Alright, now, if Miriam teleports, let's be honest, when she teleports before you kill her, be very careful chasing on this one. Between the crawling hands and the glintstone scraps from the soldiers around here, and all the sorceries Miriam can pull out, it's really easy to get stun locked and just take a ton of damage right here. So, if you can, honestly be nice to like pull hand over here. Even the mini ones have that super annoying like just spam charge that you attack that the big ones have. Can do a lot of damage, but most importantly stun you and leave you open to damage from other things. Oh, okay. Thought she fell off. I'm not that lucky. Can probably force that to happen though, honestly. It's a little sketchy though. Just play this safe. If I had some kind of like shockwave spell though, it'd be incredible. No way you're rolling through my guard counter. Straight up hacker. No! That didn't hit me, you're lying. And now they teleport. I'm finishing this with a bow, I'm not gonna lie. Bow against bow. Get out of my lobby. Get the lucidity sorcery from that. So yeah, I mean, there's the gray shield guy. These guys have shields, obviously. They can all throw those little glintstone scrap things that send in the little homing glintstone shards at you. Miriam's got the glintstone phalanx, the magic downpour, the bow. His hands have that attack right there. It can get ugly really fast. Individually, none of them are all that threatening, but together, oh my god. Not fun. Don't think there's anything back there. Nope. So now we can drop down onto these chandelier things. Use these to get down to the rafters. I wish I had pointed it out, but you probably noticed when we were in the regular version of this tower and everything was right side up, this platform that we're about to drop onto is actually above us on the ceiling. Which is probably not that mind-blowing, I guess, considering everything is now on the ceiling, but... yeah, I'm just gonna shut up now, actually. This room is so cool. I love it. I don't know why, but... anyway, walk to the exits. Open up the door. Cutscene's gonna play. And we're not upside down anymore. I don't get it. I want to get it, and I don't get it. Get the Liurnia. Struggled with that one. Tower Bridge Grace. And then... alright. Godskin Noble. Now look. I can deal with the Godskin Apostles. Are they challenging? Sure, but challenging is fine. This guy though, the Nobles, no, not playing games with this dude. So, crack open the crafting menu and make some sleep pots. Probably, realistically, need like 3 tops. I bet I can do it in 2. And equip those. If you can keep him in the cloud of sleep for even a couple seconds, it will put him to sleep in 1 sleep pot, and you can just unload with whatever spells you want, or some charged attacks, whatever you want, and get a stagger crits. Keep him in the cloud. Alright, well, that's what I get for living dangerously. Stagger, crits. He's at half health already, which means if I hadn't wasted the other sleep pot, I could have in fact done this in 2 sleep pots. But he's dead anyway, because there is a massive skill difference between the 2 of us that he was never going to overcome. You get the Godskin Noble set, and then we can head into the tower. I don't know if you guys have noticed it yet. I just looked in the corner and realized that I already had sleep pots made and had 3 left. I'm really glad that that fight went so smoothly, because that would be incredibly embarrassing if I had died and complained about not having any sleep pots left. Grab the grace, and then up to the top. And loot Ranni's corpse for the curse mark of death and the Stargazer heirloom, which is going to give you 5 extra intelligence levels. I also don't need this charm talisman anymore. Did not realize I still had that on. So, there aren't any fingers at this one. There's no sign of a great rune, and I said I'd try to explain that. So, how to explain this? I'm definitely not the lore guy on YouTube, but I do think this is interesting and also just kind of confusing as a player, so I'll say what I can. But keep in mind that the walkthrough part of this video is over, so as far as lore goes, I'm allowed to be wrong, and don't listen to anything I say, because I'm 100% guessing. But this is my take on the matter, having not watched like any of Vadi's videos yet for some reason on this game. They're long, and I just don't have any free time. But when we kill a major boss, we take their Great Rune to the Divine Tower in their region, right? Which makes sense. We killed Godric in Limgrave, activated his rune at the Divine Tower of Limgrave. We kill Radon in Caelid, activated his rune at the Divine Tower of Caelid. Cool. So now in Liurnia, we killed Rennala, so logic would dictate that we activate her rune at the Divine Tower of Liurnia, but we don't actually need to activate her rune to use it. Rennala's rune is the Great Rune of the Unborn, which, if you read it, is used to perfect rebirth. In gameplay terms, that means that we can respec our character. In lore terms, it basically means we can be reborn without our brain turning into soup, which is a nice perk, I'll be honest. I'm pretty sure I mentioned this in the past, but if you haven't attempted to respec yet, you don't actually have to equip Rennala's Great Rune at a Grace or activate it with a Rune Arc to utilize its effect. You can just talk to Rennala and respec. You do have to spend a larval tier, I suppose, but from a Great Rune perspective, it costs nothing to use Rennala's Great Rune. But that's the funny thing. It's not really Rennala's Great Rune, is it? It's the other ones are named so-and-so's Great Rune. Godric's Great Rune, Radon's Great Rune, but this one is called the Great Rune of the Unborn. Now, in my opinion, it's hard to be unborn if you've already been born, and Rennala definitely appears to exist and has probably been born at some point. So we get here to this location we're standing now, and it turns out, not all that surprisingly, since Ranni gave us the key, that this seems to be Ranni's tower, since her actual body is here. But it's not called Ranni's Great Rune either. It's still the Great Rune of the Unborn. Again, hard to be unborn if you've already been born, and if anything, Ranni's been born extra, like multiple times, since she basically killed herself and came back as a doll. So if we do some quick calculations in our heads, it's probably the Great Rune of someone who was not born. And there are a couple of potential answers to the question of who that is, starting with the amber egg in Rennala's very sad arms, which somewhat implies that she may have had a miscarriage, which could be the source of the unborn bit in the Great Rune's name. That's just a theory though, because it's never explicitly stated, I don't think, that she miscarried. It just isn't all that far-fetched when you look at the evidence. The other theory revolves around the fact that the Great Runes belonging to siblings from the same pair of parents in this game look almost identical. We only have 3 Great Runes in our possession right now, and they all come from children of different parents, so I can't show that quite yet. but the Rune of the Unborn looks a lot like another demigod's rune who we haven't officially met yet, named Millennia, and she has a brother who has also been referenced in the game named Mikola, and while he was born, he was cursed to be a child forever, which led to him, well, not wanting to be a child forever. So he went in this like cocoon, and cocoons are kind of a way of being reborn. But Mikola didn't exactly come out of the cocoon, so unborn? I don't know. There's also a whole other side to this tale, which comes from the fact that there was content cut from the game that said that Mikola was Saint Trina, the same person mentioned on basically any item dealing with the sleep status effect. In fact, it's probably on the sleep pots we're holding right now. Enchanted by the incantations of Saint Trina. There you go. On top of that, Mikola also had a great rune that was cut from the game, not in the game anymore, so you can either interpret the cut content as being stuff that you're just supposed to guess on, or that the writers decided to retcon. Either way, just a bunch of random speculation. I'm probably wrong about all of it, but I figured I'd mention it since there's so much mystery surrounding this particular tower. But with that, we're finally actually done with Ranni's questline. So at long last, back to Altus Plateau. In the next episode, of course. And one more time, just for the people in the back. I don't know anything about the lore in this game, so don't listen to anything I said. Hope you guys liked that video, hopefully that was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one.